everybody. Welcome to the MenoLounge. I'm Julie Gordon-White, CEO of MenoWell High Fiber and Protein Bars. We're going to get sciencey today. If you read the title of today's conversation with Barbara Sobel, we're getting sciencey. But wait, somebody who loves science as much as we do, even more, Dr. Mary Claire. Whoop whoop. Today is the day Dr. Mary Claire officially launches the new Menopause. Even if you are postmenopausal, you need to get the book. We need to give this, we need to spread this. My daughter, her friends, on. And I love it. It's an evidence-based guide to surviving the zone of chaos and feeling like yourself again. Who does not want to feel like ourselves again? And we know that it starts way earlier than what we thought, way earlier. So we need to educate girls, women, and all of our allies, men, brothers, etc., bosses, although most bosses are female, just saying, about this book. So get it, the new Menopause by Dr. Mary Claire Haver. She's everywhere. You know it's the bomb diggity. Okay, we are going to talk about this new word. I'm bringing up Barb today. You know our clinical nutritionist, Barbara Sobel. She's coming up to talk about my new favorite word. I'm saying it a lot, so get ready to get tired of it, but don't get tired of it because if you're tired, it's because of it. No, just kidding, kinda. Hey, Georgia.
Hi.
Hi, Barb.
I love that. Women bossing, right?
Oh, yeah, right? Like, your
boss,
your boss needs Mary Claire's book, but your boss is a woman. She still needs it, right? So
even if I'm not the boss, I'm still bossing, right?
Hell yeah. That's what my first grade teacher said. Julie is a nice girl, but she tends to be a little bossy. Duh. Yeah. What? That's a good thing. Thanks for the compliment. Barb,
right? That was like the first version of MenoWell bar.
Right.
Boss bar, right? Right.
Like a boss.
Like
Some
a boss.
things never change. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, super excited to talk about my new favorite sciencey word. It's a word that we have sort of been searching for in MenoWell world for a long time because we know what our bars do in terms of gut health with our profile of high fiber and protein, plant-based, all the good things, and bringing it together in this one word and how it impacts menopause and estrogen.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, Estrobolome. I'm going to say it.
Yes, because I've been practicing. Okay, everybody, if you're here watching, Christine, I see you here. Andrea, Brooke, everybody, we're going to practice this word. You can see it on the screen. It's estrobolome. Yes?
Yeah. Estrobolome.
Estrobolome. Because
yeah.
I was reading some papers, some science, and reports about it, and some of them were British, and then I pressed the pronunciation. It's like estrobolome, like a whole other.
I know, right? Exactly. At least it's spelled the same.
Yes.
So this is a really interesting. We've known about this for a long time, but we're just starting to get the research into it. So there's a lot that we don't know. But even in the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a lot more that we've learned. And, as with anything in nutrition and health and women, especially menopausal women, we will hopefully continue to learn. So I feel like this is something that we should revisit every once in a while because there is more and more coming out. And it really was like, we knew about it, we didn't really know that much about it. And we're really starting to learn that.
Well, and that's nutrition science in general. It's evolving. We're learning. Yeah. That's why you might hear an expert say, this one thing is the only way. And then 3 years later, well, actually, this is the only way. And it's very confusing for most of us out in the world trying to do the right thing for ourselves. You okay, Barb?
Yeah, okay, I need a little liquid.
You're just getting too excited about our sciencey talk today. But so you have to keep your knees bent when we're talking about nutrition. Now, there are facts. We know that. There's science to everything. But like all science, we have new discoveries and things evolve. Right. So that's why we're super excited to bring it. Right. Yeah. And of course, at MenoWell, we try to stay cutting edge. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, Barb, let's just break it down. Let's let the sciencey part, kind of set aside a bit and talk about sort of the simple definition, if you will, of the estrobolome.
Okay. So we have a gut microbiome. We all know about that.
Biome, there's that part of the word right
Biome,
there.
right? Spelled a little different.
Right.
There's an I instead of an L. But what we have found out is there is part of that, of all those millions of bacteria in our gut that are their own ecosystem, right? That is sort of like out of our body, but inside like a tube. There is part of it that takes estrogen and can metabolize it, repurpose it, recycle it,
Right.
and
That's
we
the
can
word
use
that kept coming up, recycling
yeah.
estrogen. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is our liver, our master detoxifier, takes estrogen that we've used up in our body and it breaks it apart, makes it like not radioactive, and it puts it into a form that we can excrete. But before we excrete it, it goes back into our gut, and before it gets there, it mixes with bile that our gallbladder has put out. And then our estrobolome says, gee, we have this estrogen here. We can recycle it, and then our tissues can absorb it again, and we can reuse that estrogen. And some of it we might not need, so we'll package that up, and it comes out in our urine or stool. And it turns out that number is pretty big. I just saw a study from 2025, so really recent. They think that we recycle 50-60% of that estrogen again.
Wow.
And reuse it, which is pretty amazing. So when it gets to the estrobolome, the microbes in there create a enzyme called beta glucuronidase.
Right. Okay,
right?
Say that again, because I was practicing that word.
I know, beta glucuronidase. I think that was easier, right? And
yeah.
that is what actually decides or
like regulates
off some that we're going to reuse and then gets rid of some. And so what is so interesting in menopause, we know that women's gut microbiomes change and they look different pre-menopause versus post-menopause. And in that perimenopause land, they change and they start looking a lot more like men's microbiomes. So we lose some really key factors, some really key bacteria that are part of that estrobolome. And then we can also have changes in our beta glucuronidase. And many women don't, sometime around menopause, sometimes they have issues with gallbladder, right? We know lots of women that have had gallbladder removed, so they're not producing as much bile. So I don't even know how that affects it, but certainly it would. It affects how we absorb fat and fat-soluble vitamins, so it has to play some role. And there's all these different things that are coming in that can change how we reuse this pretty big portion of estrogen, and we're producing less of it. So, we don't always think about the gut hormone connection.
Right.
And in menopause, that can get disconnected, and that can make normal menopause symptoms even worse. And that's the kind of issue.
That is so surprising and actually exciting to understand, because if our estrogen level decreases to the point where our gut biome is similar to a man's, right? Then what we eat and what we put into it is really important, so we can optimize what we have.
Right. Exactly. And, when we see things like cardiometabolic risk, right, that's what we see middle-aged men. That's, we start to see like a big belly, and that's what we start to see where we see weight gain in women, right? This can affect our bone health, our cognition, our mood. So all those things that we struggle with in menopause, we're now seeing, oh, gee, there's, the gut is not the only thing that affects them. And what we know what we eat is not the only thing that affects them, but it certainly plays a part. And for
Mhm.
women who have ongoing gut issues, autoimmune issues, they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're not getting the results. This is a place we might want to look at.
I I always say that nutrition is our biggest lever during menopause and perimenopause and postmenopausal. Let's not forget about, we
Yeah.
forget that, once we don't have a period anymore, okay, menopause, that's one day. We spend the rest of our lives, hopefully a really long time postmenopausal. And so this is really, really important along with perimenopause, right? As Dr.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mary
No,
Claire
but
would
it's
say,
true. It's like, we're
ongoing.
looking at 30, 40 years, right? And this is a time when, estrogen is very anti-inflammatory. So we don't have those same levels of that anti-inflammatory hormone. So the
Right.
amount that we are making, we really want to optimize.
We need to optimize it. And even those who are on hormone therapy, I'm on hormone therapy.
Yeah.
Barb, am I going
Yeah.
to destroy
No,
your
I'm
hip
on
bone?
it. Yeah.
Okay. Too late. I already did. Hopefully
Yeah.
you'll see me later. Show me your patch. No, just kidding.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. That's a different reel.
Yeah.
So even being on HRT or hormone therapy, we still are missing out. I see Megan Dahlman here. If we are not moving our bodies, exercising and eating well. And so,
Right.
Barb, what does eating well mean? How do we optimize our gut and our estrobolome? I still have to
Yeah.
really think
I
about
mean, the
that word.
number one thing, I'm going to sound like a broken record on the
Good.
MenoWell lounge, but fiber, really,
Fiber.
really important. Yeah. We have to
Fiber.
feed the microbiomes that we have. And our good bacteria help fortify the barrier in our gut. And we want a diverse microbiome. And the way to do that is fiber.
Fiber, fiber, fiber. I love
Yeah.
it. Both you and I sound like a broken record, boring. I don't care. Actually, fiber is sexy. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to keep saying that, and eventually it will be true.
Yeah.
Fiber is sexy. Having a healthy gut, and that's what helps us feel better,
Yeah.
is sexy. It makes us feel sexy. And I mean sexy like I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
And going back to what Mary Claire was talking about in the new menopause, feeling like ourselves again. Huge, huge impact from eating more fiber. And Barb, do we just eat one thing like me, broccoli all the time? Is that the best
No, no,
way?
no,
About
no.
the
Okay, but
same.
I will say broccoli is really good because it's a cruciferous vegetable.
Right.
And there's really good compounds in cruciferous vegetables. So broccoli, cauliflower, arugula, kale, Brussels sprouts, think sulfury type of things
Mm.
that really help us detoxify extra estrogen. So we want that, but we also want colorful plant foods. We talk about 30 different plant foods a week.
Including
Um,
herbs, that counts.
including herbs and spices, right? But the colorful ones are great.
Mm.
And we want to mix it up, eat seasonally. We're just coming into spring. There's a lot more stuff out there. Use your salad to
Yes.
be like, a catch-all.
Creative,
Yeah.
catch-all, throw all the things that you have left over in the salad. I started incorporating saffron into my life, and I'll have more on that a little down the road, but I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying what that's bringing to my life too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it counts.
I think, herbs and spices, great way to do it. If you live in a place like there's wild fennel everywhere where I live,
Mm.
snip some of that off. Go in the
Ooh.
backyard, snip some of the rosemary that I've got everywhere, right?
No.
It's really easy to use herbs and spices. But I want to do a plug for the red produce, especially red
Ooh.
fruits, because those are particularly good for a strain of um, uh, good bacteria,
Ooh.
Akkermansia, that are really help with kind of metabolic issues, which is such a big piece
Well, that's the
in.
core of all this is our metabolic health.
Right,
So,
right,
mhm.
right. So the Akkermansia really like red things. So pomegranate seeds, cherries, berries, blackberries,
Ooh. Bell
walnuts.
pepper,
I don't know if it likes a lot of the red fruit. It's
like
really
red fruit.
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just another plug for variety,
I love
right?
that.
We can't.
Pomegranate seeds on everything this time of year. Oh,
Yeah,
so good.
yeah, yeah. And they're so bright and happy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Even if you
happy.
buy them frozen, right? So you don't have to deal with them.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that because the whole idea of peeling them is not appealing.
I know. But
So,
you could buy those little cups, but you can also buy them frozen, and someone else is peeling them,
thank
right, or
you.
some machine, right, and
Thank
they're
you.
usually picked and processed right at the height of their season,
Uh-huh.
so they taste good, they're nutrient dense, they get frozen right away, and just run them over some water over them and throw them in. They just you put it over like fish, or you put it
Everything.
over salad, or in your yogurt in
Oatmeal,
the morning. Yeah, oatmeal, whatever.
yogurt,
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
things.
yeah.
So good. Barb, what's the website we've talked about in the MenoWell method? And by the way, our MenoWell method is because it's my birthday month. And so we're letting everybody in for free for the whole year. If you go to mymenowell.com and then just look where, to buy bars and method, you'll see you can just sign up for free. And you get to talk to Barb in our little small group every single week about your own situation. Christine is a regular, and so why wouldn't you want to do that? And so go do that for free. But anyway, we were talking about in the MenoWell method call on Zoom about a website that you can go to find out what is in season in your area regionally. Like Christine says, do it.
Yeah. Seasonal
What's that
food
website,
guide.
Barb?
Yeah. Seasonalfoodguide.org.
There you go,
Pretty easy name. Yeah.
seasonalfoodguide.org. I love that because you can go any time of the year, put in where you are, and it will tell you what
By
is
month.
seasonal for you.
Yeah.
By month.
Yeah. Which is
Amazing.
awesome. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to do a blog post about that.
Yeah. We do.
Okay.
I'll work on
Note
that. Yeah.
stuff. Okay. This is so
Okay, so
exciting.
we
I mean,
talked about fiber and
yes.
then, breaking it down a little bit, some of the vegetables or, plant foods, not just vegetables. And I think that is super important. Another couple things, lifestyle is really important. Getting enough sleep, dealing with chronic stress, super important.
Mm,
And
mm,
that is something in midlife we all have, and it's a challenge to find the way that it works for, what can you do?
mhm.
You don't have to sit for an hour doing meditation, stressing out that you can't focus.
Right.
That's like
Although it's
finding
lovely.
things that are relaxing and feel good to you. And are really important. And
Mm,
sometimes that's just mini little things of taking a deep breath. Sometimes it is just like noticing the sun on your face when walk outside. It can be a lot of small things throughout the day, but that's really important for our gut health, and it often gets overlooked.
mm. I love it. So these are the things we talk about all the time. So what
Yeah,
I think is important to acknowledge is that we're not trying to pile on with something new. We are really emphasizing the importance of what we already know and are helping you do with MenoWell or however you're doing it, getting in that fiber, helping you prioritize sleep, reminding you to exercise your body. Like these are all the good things that we deserve in midlife, and we get a really positive response when we do. The
yeah,
gut's telling us. She
yeah,
knows.
yeah,
She knows. Barb, fun question.
yeah.
If the estrobolome could talk, what would it tell midlife women, menopausal women? What would it want us to know?
Yeah. So it would really want to know, it would want us to know it is foundational, right? When it never gets talked about it. Poor little thing is like a stepsister,
He's like,
right?
look at
Unless
me.
you have a lot of gut symptoms, it doesn't get talked about, and it's
Mm.
really important. So it's not a replacement for good diet, good lifestyle habits, for estrogen replacement. It is like it wants a seat at the table. And I think that's what we really want to remember, because it's not something that gets that your doctor's not going to talk about it unless you go in and say I have bloating and GI issues, or
Right.
right. But it's foundational. It is really like the center of so many of our systems, and certainly like how we take in food, break it down, absorb the nutrients. It's really key. And then it has these amazing other functions.
So good. So good. It kind of reminds me of the saying, food is medicine.
Yeah,
It really is.
absolutely.
It really
Absolutely.
is. And
Absolutely.
we didn't really have to eat food as medicine when we were in our 20s and even 30s. You could get away with it. 40s start to get a little cranky, but after 50, forget it, sister. Forget
Yeah.
it. We only deserve to give our bodies the best food that we can afford, that we can prioritize, and it just has dividends in spades. So I love that. Okay. So if we only had one thing, Barb, let's bring this kind of all together. I know it's kind of sciencey. We're going to be talking about this a lot. We're still practicing saying it, so we know it's not mainstream. I keep looking at my notes. Estrobolome. Estrobolome. I want to say it fast. Estrobolome.
Yeah, estrobolome.
Estrobolome.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Mary Claire. Mary Claire, how do you say this word? But if we just had to kind of get it to one thing, because that's all I can kind of handle. One thing, Barb, what do we need to do?
What do we need? The one thing?
Yes, the one thing to support our gut health.
There's more than one.
I know.
So hard. Okay, I'm going to say fiber. We want to feed it, right? But we pair that with some good fermented foods, right?
Okay.
Fermented foods
put
in the
like
bacteria.
a true clinical nutritionist, I couldn't pin you down to one thing.
I know. Fermented foods, like put down the seeds, and then we have to feed those seeds with a fiber, and then we tend them, right? Like with good lifestyle habits, right?
So everything you just said, like with hyphens in between, that makes it one word.
Exactly. It's really hard because it's not anything really different, but it's really following through on those things, right? And I'll give you a really good example about myself. For me, like I get derailed with sleep all the time because I'm like, oh, I want to watch one more version of, one more episode of something or whatever. Yeah. Or then I decide to go to bed early and I start reading and I have the light on and, blah, 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 blah. Right. And I do it to myself all the time. And, I think like really dialing that down would make a difference.
Yes. So it's never actually just one thing.
It's never.
That's really the answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, sorry, I tried to trick you with that question. But
I know. And it's
really,
sometimes something different for someone else, right? You might be got your fiber completely down, but you don't really, maybe you don't like fermented vegetables. And I knew that. And what if you didn't tolerate fermented dairy? There aren't that many choices left, right?
yes.
So, so that's, it's different for everyone.
It's a different one thing. I would say for me, it's diversity of fiber because I'm very conscious of my fiber, but I tend to eat the same thing all the time.
Yes.
Starts with a B.
Especially with your vegetables. Yeah. Right. I know that.
Exactly. But I'm always so proud of myself. Oh, Barb would be so proud of me. I added bell pepper and
go crazy
to this thing and da, da, da. So but I'm making it conscious. But just knowing at the end of the day, our gut biome interacts with estrogen, processing it, recycling it, and when our body doesn't have any, we need to even be that much more focused on how we process what we do have and what stays, goes, and where it goes. Is that right, Barb?
Yeah, that's totally. And, and then we have to pay attention that our gut microbiome is changing. So
yes,
instead of ignoring it, we need to maybe give it a little love, right?
Yeah.
And think of it along with all those other things that we do to really fuel our bodies during menopause. So that's everything from appropriate exercise, getting your protein, getting your sleep, dealing with stress, getting your fiber, right? It's all one thing. And it doesn't, there aren't other things that your gut microbiome needs. It just needs good inputs,
mm-hmm.
and it needs to be supported like the rest of your body.
I love it. I like to think about, everything I make of her, like she's a thing. And so I need to support her too. And so when I think about that, by supporting her, it supports me. So supporting here we go, try it again. Our estrobolome.
Estrobolome.
Estrobolome. I said it like 10 different ways today.
I know. It almost sounds like a place you'd go hear music or something.
So we should add that, like estrobolome. Okay, something like, that'll help me. Sorry, I'm a little excited today. This is such a fun day. But it's so important. I love it when we can talk about something that's new, that isn't new, that we didn't pay attention to, and now we need to. She was always there.
Right.
She just needs some love. So
more
on this.
And she's an important part of our whole being, right?
Yes. Right.
Even though she's technically outside of us, but yeah.
Or inside, outside.
Well, really, like if you think of our digestive tract, it's like a tube that's sort of outside of our body. It's really interesting.
Oh God, I feel like that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other episode, but it
if I see everything
inside our body.
Yeah. Barb, you're the very best. I look forward to more sciencey, weird conversations about fiber and why it's so important. And reminding everybody, go get Mary Claire's new book today, the new perimenopause. She was on Today's Show yesterday. My mom texted me, Dr. Mary Claire's on the Today Show. So get the book, share it with all the younger women that you know, read it yourself, because I'm sure there's something in there to learn. And Barb, we've got about 30 minutes for a quick bio break, and then we're hopping on to the MenoWell method as we do every Tuesday after the MenoLounge at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. You fill in the rest yourself. So you should join us. We'll probably be continuing the conversation about the estrobolome. And I think we have some new members that we're welcoming.
Awesome. It's a great opportunity to really go a little bit more in depth, ask questions, share your experiences, share resources. It's really fun for us.
And it's fun. So you have time to go to mymenowell.com and just sign up. Put it in the cart. It'll be $0. It'll send you into our platform on School, SKOOL. You'll get the link, bing, bang, boom. And if you can't find it, you can always email me at julie@mymenowell.com. That's it. Okay, everybody. See you MenoWell method sooner. Barb will see you in 30 minutes. And bye, everybody else. Until next time, be well.
Bye.
Okay. And practice your word, estrobolome.